Hello everyone. Today I'm going to discuss about singly linked list. So there are three types of linked list are available: singly linked list, doubly linked list, and circular linked list. So today we are going to discuss about singly linked list. So in singly linked list, inside the node we have only two part. One is data field and another one is address field. It contains only one address field and one data field. So that comes under singly linked list. So a singly linked list is a linked list in which each node contains only one link field pointing to the next node in the list. So this the first one, it represents the first part. The first part represents the data, and the second part, it represents the address of the next node. Okay, so this thousand is nothing but the address of the next node. For example, the next node, this 10 is stored in 1000 memory location, so that will be stored here. So 1000 is the address of 10. Okay, so that will be stored after 5. So the same way, 15 is stored in 2000 locations, so this 2000 is stored in the address field of the second node. So in this way, we add the data and we link with the other node. So this is the singly linked list. So it has data field, and the next thing is it has the next address field. Next is singly linked list with header. Singly linked list with header node. So before that we have seen the singly linked list alone, which means let us consider this as node 1, this is node 2, and this is node 3. Okay, so this node 2's address is stored here, and node 3's address is stored in the second node's address field. Okay, and what about the first node's address? So previously we haven't stored the address of the first node. For example, 500 is the address of the first node. Let us consider 500 is the address of the first node. To keep track of the first node, I am going to have a separate node as header. So inside that I am going to store this 5's address, this node 1's address, which means 500 I am storing here. Okay, so this is the purpose of the header node. Header node usually contains the address of the first node of the list. So the header node is at the very beginning of the linked list. So it is the first node of the list. It is an extra node kept at the front of a list. So it does not represent an item in the linked list, whereas it has only the address of the first node. This 500 is not the data value, it is the address of the first node. For example, first data item is 5. 5 is stored in 500 memory address. So that address is stored in the header node. Okay. Next we'll move on to the topic called operations on singly linked list. As we have discussed, like arrays, the same operations can be performed here. You can perform insertion, deletion, display, search, sort, all those things. So next is singly linked list structure definition. Okay, like when we have discussed about arrays, so when you want to store any data items inside the array, we have to declare the array and we have to initialize the values, right? So the same way, if you are going to create a node, so we must follow some steps in C language, which means I'm going to allocate some memory for the node in the computer memory. Okay, so that I have to follow some structure definition. Okay, just consider this is my node. As I told you, a node contains data. It is of what type? It may be of integer, float, or character or anything else. Okay, it is of, let's consider this is an integer data type, and obviously your next field contains what data? Address of the next data item. So this address is nothing but the pointer variable, correct? So this int and pointer, these two are different data types. So when we talk about this different data types, we have to obviously go with this structure. Okay, so for that only I have created a structure for this node to keep track of two different data types. So this struct is nothing but the keyword. Struct is nothing but the keyword, and the node is nothing but the name of the node. Okay, so it is a user defined one. According to your wish you can give node, and I'm going to have two things, int data and what is the next thing, address of the next node. So int data is I'm going to have integer data, so that I'm giving int data, and next is address. So here actually what is this next field contains? This next field contains address of the next node. Am I right? So the next node, it is actually of what type? The next node, it contains what? Again two fields, data field and address field. So it is actually a structure, right? It is a structure of two things, right? Data and the address field. Okay, so for that purpose I am mentioning struct node star next. So this is nothing but self-referential structure. Okay, I am going to have data, and I am going to have address. For that I have given, so that address is of what type? Same structure type, structure node type. So it actually the next field, that is the next node, second node is also containing what two fields, data and next field. So for that purpose I am using self-referential structure, struct node star